Hey YouTube, how the heck we doing? Today is patch day, patch 13.10. It is humongous. This patch will 100% shake up the meta, and I am here to be your guide. So we're going to do a little rundown, and I'm going to guide you with the up-to-date runes and builds for Teemo and a little bit more. So stay tuned, make sure you hit that like and sub button, and get ready to pay attention, get your notes out. So, disclaimer, we're going to be able to see some items in the client, and then for some items we'll have to go to the patch notes itself. For example, Rageblade, it doesn't show you everything, it's missing key information. So we're going to be swapping around a little bit. Happens, we all know about the Riot client. Let's move past that. We're also going to go for most important changes to least important changes, and I'm not going to cover every single one. I'm just going to cover what you need to know. So let's start with the most important. Okay, Ghost Blade. This item will be the most broken one on the patch, and we're going to look at all the details on our patch notes here. Boom. So if you look at this item, it's up 100 gold, you get 5 AD, 5 haste. Now, again, just little things that are interesting. It doesn't mention the lethality here, but it will have lethality. You may notice it shows on the orange side, the orange upgraded lethality is 26. There is lethality in this item, it's just not showing in the description. Hey, go figure. So it has 18 lethality, and boom, it has 60 AD, 20 haste. So here's why this item is the biggest change. It's going to be the most broken item. 25% bonus movement speed on the active. On the passive Haunt, you're going to have 40 bonus movement speed, and you're going to have 8 to 20 bonus lethality. So the item, it gives 18 lethality, and the item active gives 25 movement speed, but then you also have a passive that gives you 40 movement speed and more lethality. And guess what? This passive generates, but it's always going to be up. It's going to be up every 3 seconds. So this item is going to be the most broken. So if you are playing right now, if you're locking an AD assassin mid or jungle, you rush this item, you're going to be kicking ass, okay? So this item is the most broken. You're going to see AD assassins everywhere, confirmed. Now, also why this item is broken, they also made Prowlers a legendary item. So the combo is going to be Ghostblade Prowlers. If you look at Prowlers, it's down 5 AD, 3 lethality, 5 haste, but it's no longer mythic. It's a legendary item, and it no longer does the dash. All it is after you dash like your stealth, aka every champ in the game, you do a crap ton of bonus damage, and you get slowed. So the new AD Assassin combo, Kiana Talon, probably S tier mid and jungle, Ghostblade the Prowlers, they're going to be super duper broken. This is the biggest change in the game. You should be picking AD Assassins if you can play them, okay? And also Dustblade, it got changed ever so slightly. It's about the same item. It just changed around a little bit. Still good, still amazing, still playable on AD Assassins. Like I said, Ghostblade is going to steal the show for sure. So an example build is what that's going to look like. You're playing an AD Assassin, right? You can go any pair of boots, right? I wouldn't even go upgraded boots. I would just get boosted speed. I would get Ghostblade first item, Prowler second item. This build is low skill. You use your Ghostblade, you pop the active, it gives you movement speed without active. You have free damage on Prowlers. You're going to be one-shotting for a while, then you can go whatever boots you want and whatever items lethality you want. So this is going to be really good. You pair this with Electrocute on most AD Assassins. Some can even go First Strike, and you're looking real good. Most broken setup for sure. Okay. Now, the second most broken thing in the patch and the most impactful, which, of course, Teemo will be using, is going to be Rageblade and on-hit items. There is a lot to unpack here, right? And again, I'm not going over every change. For example, Stormrazor got buffed. It's still whatever, 4th or 5th item. Shiv got reintroduced. It seems like it's going to be a very niche fit. You could read the changes right now. I'll give you a second. But we're not going to talk about it too much. But we're only be covering the meat and potatoes. So, Rageblade is going to be boom right here. So it's going to be a lot to unpack. I'm not going to read every single bit. But if you look at this item now, 30 AD, 30 AP, 25 attack speed. You start with 30 magic damage on hit. It scales with crit. You stack 4 autos. You get 32% attack speed. And then every 3rd auto after, so your 7th auto, 10th auto, your effects hit twice. Now, the biggest part of this item, you get 5% armor pen, 6% magic on every other item. So that's a very good mythic item On hit Teemo's back. Kale is going to be broken. On hit is back, baby. I'm so freaking excited. So that's just one of the changes for on hit items. The second change here, it is pretty big. Kraken Slayer is now a legendary item. It's not a mythic. So this is down AD, up attack speed. But this new component here, every third auto applies 20 damage, 60% AD, 45 AP. And now here's a big thing. Subsequent triggers, which is every 3 autos. So 3 autos triggers it. 3 autos is a subsequent trigger. 9 autos is another trigger. So at 9 autos, you're doing 100% bonus damage. At 6, you're doing 50. So if you can auto a crap ton, Kraken is the way to go. So that's another change. Now, I'm going to show you the best Teemo build with this. So again, Kale's going to be insane. Maybe Vayne is going to be insane. On hit champs are going to be insane. Now let's talk about Teemo with this setup. So you're definitely going to go Rage Blade. It's going to be nuts. I suspect, obviously Berserker Grease is always good, but I think this will be the best Teemo build here. In the top lane, this will be the best top lane Teemo build. So if you only care about Teemo, this is where you make sure you pay attention. So on hit Teemo has been dead for a while. This is going to bring it back. But on hit items you got to be very careful with. So we're going to be going Bork first item, Rage Blade second. The reason why we go Bork is because in top lane, you have to be strong early game. You can't get the 6 items by farming. You have to fight. Bork is the best item in the game at 1 item spike. You spike super hard. When you lane versus that Irelia, she gets Bork, you can't play. This item is really good. So when you buy Bork first, that makes you strong. You're strong, you get more kills, you get more gold, you get Rage Bleed, now you scale. This was bad because you buy Bork and fall off. It doesn't work with AP. Not anymore. You buy Bork Rage Blade, you're off to the races. You get the hybrid pen, you get all the extra attacks. So this is what I think is going to be the best setup. Now also for top lane, if you're versus an AP matchup, you can go something like this, right? You're versus a Kennen top or an AP matchup, boom. You pivot that build a little bit. You can even go Berserker Grease still, but you go Wit's End, then Rage Blade. Now you're tanky lane, you can 1v1, and then you have the damage. This is going to be the best build for top lane. I suggest trying it out ASAP. Now also, I think we're going to keep going. This is going to be my setup here. I think I'm going to go tanky after. I don't think it's going to be wise to go 5 items with on hit. I think you're going to get dropped. But this is going to be, in my opinion, the best build this patch for Teemo. So this is where you pay attention right here. This is going to be the go-to. So Rage Blade got changed. Bork is a good early game. Rage Blade got changed. Wit's End is good versus AP. So versus AD, we'll even put that here. And versus AP, right? That's going to be the best Teemo build. I like the tanky on the back end. Feel free to try out your own, but I highly recommend this setup right here. Now, okay, boom, that's top lane Teemo. Now let's go into jungle. Okay, so this is top Teemo. I'm not going to give you every single build for every champ. Now let's go into the jungle. So I have to show you another change for the jungle. Is going to be Runan's Hurricane. So Hurricane got giga buffed. Up 200 gold, you're down 5% attack speed, but look at this bad boy. It has a whole new passive, 30 magic damage on hit, a flat 30. Up 10% AD on the bolts, and the bolts are working better now. So why this is important, I'll show you. So this is going to be for jungle Teemo. Hurricane is now good for jungle Teemo, which I love playing. I'm playing it in Masters damn near every game, right? So Runan's Hurricane, we're going to go Berserkers. In the jungle, we don't need to be tanky, and a Rage Blade. So this is going to be my favorite jungle build. The reason why it's Runan's instead of Bork is because you don't need to 1v1 people. You're going to be ganking. You don't need tanky stats because it's wasted versus a camp. And Runan's is an early game item. I will repeat, it's an early game item. When you have flat damage is good early game. That 30 damage is spawning on this item as soon as you buy it. No scaling necessary. Also, the bolts are amazing for jungle because right now we're using our shrooms to clear the jungle. If we go Hurricane, we can use our shrooms to put everywhere else. Also, that's not it. 7% movement speed. That is amazing for the jungle. It's not amazing playing versus Aatrox top. The movement speed, you're probably going to get whacked still. But in the jungle, it's going to be amazing to get that macro off, get those ganks off. So this is going to be the go-to jungle build. And again, I'm going to be following it with a tank setup. I think this is the best way to go. I don't think you should go full on hit. Like, I will see people doing this, right? You'll go Runan's Rage Blade. They're just going to keep going on hit. Nashor's Bork with Berserkers. Hey, you're doing a lot of damage here, but I feel like you're going to get one shot. So you feel free to try this. I bet it's not going to be terrible, but I'm going to go for the tanky route so I can get my autos off. More autos, more damage, more times to carry. These are going to be the go-to Teemo setups. I recommend at least trying these. If you don't like it, try to like it. Give it a good 10-20 games. New items usually come out very broken. I don't think Riot's going to release Rageblade and then have it suck. So we should take advantage of this while we can. So highly recommend trying these. Please do on Teemo. It's going to be insane. Now, AP Teemo, AP items are generally untouched, but if you do want to still play AP Teemo, they buff Death Cap by 5% AP. That's something that's kind of cool, but again, you should really be trying on-hit Teemo. It's going to be insane. Now, let's also show you the runes for on-hit Teemo. So, runes didn't change whatsoever, but our runes for on-hit Teemo, you can only run Press the Attack or Fleet. So we'll start with top lane. Top lane Teemo rune page, you can go Press the Attack. I personally will recommend this because this is viable at all ranks. No matter what, you will be tankier at 12 minutes. So I recommend Press the Attack, and then you go for a page like this. You go Armor MR based on your lane. This is always going to be good, always going to scale for any ranks. This is a little bit weaker early game, so if you want a stronger early game, you can kind of go anything. But if you want a stronger early game, Nimbus Scope Absolute Focus is fine, or Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter. These three options are fine. I would suggest going in the conditioning tree, because on hit Teemo you have to be in their face, right? So I'd recommend going conditioning. You can even go unflinching bone plating. So recommend the resolve tree, but really you can go any. And I recommend only running Press the Attack or Fleet. Press the Attack is when you want to get kills in lane, you want a 1v1, and Fleet will be when you don't think you can get the autos off and you need to survive a little more. Fleet's really good. But with on-hit Teemo, you will not be running Airy, Dark Harvest, anything like that. On-hit needs to rail those autos. A lot of people are going to ask me, Manko, what about Lethal Tempo? Lethal Tempo has been nerfed so many times. I do not recommend going Lethal Tempo. For you to get this rune up and going, you need 6 autos to get that attack range. The attack speed's negligible. You need 6 autos to the range. Melee champs get double the attack speed, so it's already nerfed for range, and it got nerfed a couple patches ago. Where Press the Attack, you need 3 autos. 3 autos, you do damage, and then all your damage is amplified. This, you need 6 autos for a little more range. I don't recommend. There are very niche situations, but I don't think it's worth going into just now. Maybe down the line we could talk about it. I don't recommend it for now. Press the Attack or Fleet are going to be the way to go. Now, for Jungle Teemo, the page changes. I recommend always going Press the Attack. You don't need Fleet. You don't need the Sustain to clear. I like to go Celerity Water Walking, and I like to go Health. Because Celerity Water Walking will allow you to get on the map, allow you to play aggressive early game, get some ganks up, and you don't need armor to clear the camps. You're healthy as an ox. The health will scale better. I used to go this page, Cosmic Insight and Magical Footwear, but I find that Celerity Water Walking, I am so much stronger so much earlier. Teemo has no CC on the gank, so if I could run out through my blazing speed and get my autos down and smite them, it works out a way ton better. So that's going to be the runes. You pair those runes with our items from before, and there you have it. That's going to be the best Teemo build this patch. 100% guaranteed. I will see you out there on the rip collecting the LP. Now, we're not done yet. Teemo is taken care of. The Teemo builds are looking good. If you play 80 Assassins, you're looking good. If you play Kill Top, you're looking good. But there's one more change I wanted to briefly go over. I'm not going to read everything out. But support. Actually, sorry, a couple more changes. But support items are going to be next. A lot of these items are buffed. Like there's buffs in here. Hole Breaker's buff, Gourd Drinker's buff. I'm not going to go over every single one. But the support items I will mention, again, we're not going to read all them. But if you're an Enchanter support, you are in luck. They released so many amazing Enchanter support items. Ardent Sensor got buffed. This is actually buildable now. You're not trolling. It has movement speed. You took off AP and mana regen, you got movement speed. That's super good. And the passive almost got doubled on the damage. So Ardent Sensor is not troll. It's actually a good item now for support players. Chalice of Blessing is looking very broken. You get health regen for mana regen. You get mana regen on every item. This is going to be looking broken as well. You upgrade your support item for the mana regen. You buy this. You're looking good. You're not going to be poked out of lane. Echoes of Helia is a new item that got released. I'm not going to read it word by word, but essentially you stack up 2 souls. When you use a soul by healing or shielding your ally, you're doing damage and you're healing your ally. When you don't have any souls, you get free AP for fun because we're in Season 13 and you just have 2 passives for no reason. So, new item, Enchanter. Enchanter Ardent Sensor got buffed. Chalice of Blessing is good for all Enchanters. And Pillar Mandate got buffed. Again, another... this could be Enchanter or Engage. Knight's Vow got a small buff, not too big. And again, all these support items are getting changed around, and support's looking real good. So if your support Enchanter main, hoorah, even some engaged champs, hoorah, is looking real good. Now, last but not least, okay, so just a brief run through the patch notes here. It's a lot. It would take hours to read all them. But the champion buffs are very small, just AP ratios we don't care about. The AD items are changed a little bit, but not really too crazy, so I'm not going to go into every single one. We covered the big stuff already. And then we have the AD assassin items, which we covered, enchanter items, which we covered. And then you have a couple tank items that got changed, not really a big deal all around. I will note Lost Chapter. If you're an AP mid lane main, this is going to be amazing. Highly suggest checking out LS's patch rundown. I checked it out. He goes over the Lost Chapter strategy where you go futures market, you push for 900 gold, you base for Lost Chapter. Very, very broken on AP mid lanes. Make sure you check that out. And then last but not least, two more changes here. So minions got changed. Pretty much what's going to happen, the first wave is unaffected, but every wave after the first one until 14 minutes, the side lanes are going to be faster. So right now, if you're playing a mid laner, you can have the most CS in the game by design. Mid laners get access to the minion waves faster. Every mid lane minion wave spawns and runs faster. So now what they're doing, after the first wave, the side lanes will be the same speed. So now bot and top lane can get more CS, and you also have to time it differently. So pay attention to that. Also, teleport got changed. I think it's a pretty fair pro and con system. It's overall a buff, but essentially you can now TP across the map at 10 minutes. In trade, if you use teleport within level 1 through 10, it's a longer cooldown. So if you teleport level 1, or if you're playing Teemo and you're versus a teleport top laner, if you manage to get their teleport level 1, it is a whole minute longer. So that's very huge. And again, for that risk, for them using it early, they can TP early, which I think is pretty fair. Blue Orb got buffed, and now Oracle Lens. This is a net nerf in my humble opinion. So Oracle Lens, you now have two charges, right? But the charge recharge time is a minute longer, 120 to 160. So 2 to 1 minutes was a cooldown. Now it's 160 to 100. So almost 3 minutes to 2 minutes. So it's a minute longer on the cooldown. You do get two charges, but those charges only last 6 seconds. So each Sweeper Lens user has 2 more seconds of uptime at a minute cooldown. So that's an overall net nerf for us Teemo enjoyers, which is wonderful. So all in all, a quick TLDR before I let you out of here. AD Assassins are going to be amazing. Enchanter supports and engages are good still, and they're already good. ADs might be broken, we'll have to find out. And Teemo is looking wonderful with the on-hit items, with the teleport changes, and with the Sweeper Lens changes. So have some fun, try out those builds, let me know how it goes in the comments down below, and I appreciate you for letting me be your 13.10 patch guide. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day.